Alright, I'm verifying that the surrounding work area is clear of live ammunition. Although this firearm is loaded as it is a personal defense firearm, I will be unloading it due to the nature of this video. I'll be placing the magazine behind me out of easy reach. And I will also be locking the slide to the rear, visually and physically inspecting the chamber and barrel to ensure that there is no ammunition anywhere in the firearm. The firearm is clear. Now that the firearm is clear, I will be going through the cycle of operations for a semi-automatic pistol. Okay, I like to start at firing because that is where traditionally we initiate. Okay, although the magazine source must be initiated, so insert. So we're gonna with firing. Okay, let me double check to make sure that the weapon is clear. Triple check. Always triple check. Okay. So the shooter pulls the trigger, causing the sear to rotate, which releases the tension of the firing pin, causing the hammer to hit the firing pin, and the firing pin strikes the primer, and then the primer it deflagrates, explodes, and it causes the powder to explode, which sends the bullet down the barrel. So in this, in the first part, what is used is the trigger, as well as the sear, as well as the firing pin, and any associated trigger bar, any associated barrel is also used, and any associated trigger group parts. The next step would be unlocking, as the slide is forced backward due to the force of the expanding powder. Okay, we get a unlocking of the lock lugs. Okay, as well as the barrel begins to drop down. Okay, as this happens, the slide is begun to be forced rearward, and that would complete the unlocking phase. So the slide is forced backward, and the case is beginning to be pulled backwards by the extractor, which is gripped onto the rim of the case. Continued backward movement of the slide is going to then cause extraction of the round, okay? So it's going to actually be fully pulling the round back. We haven't ejected it, okay? But we fully disengaged from the chamber, okay? And we're extracting the round out. And the extractor is a critical part, as well as the slide, because the extractor is like locked into the slide, okay? And then the bolt is used, okay? It's the whole upper assembly per se. All critical features in the extraction part. As the slide comes to the rearward portion of its motion, we have the ejection part, where the ejector, which is right in here, the case is the extractor pulls the case and hits into the ejector, and it causes it to bounce out both back and right of the gun. Okay, and the parts that are involved are again the slide, the ejector, the extractor as well, because it's gripped onto. Okay, and I would say those are pretty much the main. Oh, and the recoil. This is holding the energy, and it's also guiding. So the guide rod, I'd say, is integral, as well as the springs contained, because it's controlling that backward action. As the slides are moved backward after the ejection, we have the cocking, which is where the sear is reset. It's re-rotated. The hammer, the firing pin have been locked back, and it's reset the trigger to then be ready to be used again. The slide is still not forward. Okay, it is still in the rearward position. It might be beginning to move forward, but we haven't chambered the new round yet, which is what we're getting to next. We have the feeding aspect when the slide begins to move forward, and it rips a new round. Oh, the magazine back here. Okay, whoop, it pulls it. It pulls the bolt face. The extractor. And with the extractor, begins to grip onto the secondary round. It begins to begin with the slide, begins to push the round, the strip top of the round off the magazine, and we have the feed ramp. So the barrel, the slide, the recoil spring, the extractor, the magazine. I would say those are the integral parts to feeding. There we go. because we're feeding a fresh round into the chamber. And then the final one would be chambering. Actually, not the final one. The second to last one would be chambering, which is where we are chambering or inserting the new round into the actual breech, right? The chamber, the barrel. Okay. The round is just nestled into the barrel. Okay. We have actually not yet because we haven't locked it. We haven't fully locked. So we have not locked. We're right here. We're feeding. Okay. So we're pushing that new round up the feed ramp. Okay, the whole slide, the guide rod, all those parts are integral. I'd say almost every part of the gun is integral besides the trigger. Like the springs are used, the slides used, even the lower like is used because if this wasn't here, like what would the slide have to lock onto, right? So I'd say it's all integral. It's integral. The final step would be locking. So the locking load where everything is fully seated, okay, and you are ready to rock and roll. That is the final step when it's fully locked in and everything is integral in the locking phase. In this next step of the video, I'll be showing you the cleaning procedures of a Glock 23 Gen 4. Again, making sure I will re-show that we are working with a clear firearm, visually and physically inspect, right? We'll now be taking apart the firearm, so we obviously send the frying pan home, pull down the takedown pin, slide backward pressure on the slide. Alright. So we have our lower, okay, with our trigger group, okay. We can leave this together for the assembly and for the cleaning. You pretty much never have to take this apart. Q-tips, some compressed air if need be, but yeah, this also never really needs to be taken apart. You can clean it, but this would be the slide, barrel, the recoil spring and guide rod, and then the lower. Okay, that would be the 4 parts that you would need to disassemble it. You can disassemble your hammer and take off this back strap. Depress. I think you like to put a pin through there. I get distracted. Essential tools: a cleaning brush. You would need a CLP, some kind of cleaning, some kind of solvent. Nothing too harsh. You want something that's plastic safe, as well as something that's not going to strip your finishes. Okay. So I like CLP. I use it in the Marine Corps. I like to use what's it called? Bore snakes as well, because it really makes the barrel cleaning easy. With a bore snake, you always insert it from the chamber and you pull out, just the same way the bullets go. Okay, always that. I was always taught that it follows the rifling best that way, and it helps pull the debris out. Another fight. So you put a little. You put a little bit of seal. I'm not gonna do this because my gun's already clean, but I will demonstrate. Okay, we put CLP on the brush. You don't need a ton, maybe 5 drops. Okay. And if you would want to look for black, for carbon, okay? You're going to start to scrub it. Scrub it all over. Give it a good scrub, right? Give it a good scrub. Give it a good scrub. Give it a good scrub. Let's go, scrub. Wipe it down, right? Give it a wipe down. And we don't want to leave them dry. Do a light coating of CLP. Same thing goes for the guide rod, right? CLP. Spray it good, spray it good. We want to make sure you get in between the springs, right? Give it love, right? Break up any carbon. Same thing with the slide, right? Working our freaking brushing there, okay? We're not skipping anywhere, right? We're getting in those lanes, getting in those grooves, okay? And you want to make sure with the barrel you don't leave any lubricant or water in there because it can absolutely wreak havoc if you shoot through a wet barrel. You can't compress the liquid. So once everything is cleaned and dried off, you want to apply a light coat of CLP. Nothing too not thick, but just enough to allow a light shimmer and shine to allow proper lubrication and prevent rust. And make sure you reassemble and you do a functions check, and that would be how to properly clean a semi-automatic handgun or pretty much any handgun. Safety first. Make sure you get the carbon off. Those are the essential parts.